Hi Slam fans, welcome to tip number 12, arguably the most valuable tip that you have heard from me since doing these tips. Today we're talking about new top level domain names, and we've broken this down into four categories, the what, the why, the who and the when, to try and help explain this space because it is extremely complicated, but it is arguably the most the biggest change to the internet since the creation of the internet itself. So that's a pretty big thing to say. But look, I've just recently come back from internet governance and policy seminars overseas where they are talking about this, and the big players in the games are there and they understand what's going on, and they are creating the future of the internet that you and I are involved in. And I can tell you that they are right behind this, to the point where Google is one of the biggest players in this. And as you and I well know, 90% of all search online is done using Google. So if Google is supporting this, then fundamentally how Google gets involved in this space is really going to impact on all of us and our businesses and what we do. Okay, so first thing is, what is a TLD? Okay, well, a TLD, or a top-level domain name, is like a .com, a .net, a .gov. There are also country code top-level domains like .com.au for Australia or .com.nz for New Zealand. Okay, now this space currently is occupied by 22 top-level domains plus the country codes. What has happened as of July 2011 is that 2,000 new applications have gone in for top-level domain names. Out of that 2,000, roughly 1,500 of those are going to be approved, we believe. So how this impacts on you is that with these new top-level domain names, Google is actually going to be changing their algorithms to incorporate these new top-level domain names. .com is not going to be the space to have. .com.au is no longer going to be the space to have for Australia. The way they're now looking at it is that what's after the dot is actually going to be a keyword, and that is going to impact on search engine optimization. It is going to impact on your cost per click advertising that you do with Google. Okay, so what are some of these new top-level domain names? Well, they break down into two main categories. We've got open and closed. Now, open top-level domains are what you and I know today, which are that you would go and you would buy a .com or a .com.au and you would set up your business underneath that, and you buy that for a 2-year period or 5 years or whatever it might be. And then there are the closed top-level domain names. Now, the closed top-level domain names are mainly going to be occupied by trademarks. So you're looking at Ferrari, so there'll be .Ferrari. You're looking at Tiffany, so there'll be .Tiffany. There in Australia, to bring it home, there is .AFL. There will be .7. Now, these brands are not going to be selling their top-level domain, so you won't be able to buy one, but they are going to use these for internal purposes, so you'll see marketing of these things. And the whole purpose, really, of changing this space is to bring creativity, to bring variety to the space. Now, the domain industry, or the domainers out there who trade top-level, or who trade domain names like for .com, they are not really very supportive of this, and I can understand why, because they've invested a lot of money into buying and selling .com domains, and some of the .nets and so forth. But ultimately, from my side of it, as a retailer, as someone that's involved with brands, where I see this really being important is that now, for the first time ever, I will be able to associate with a particular group in this top-level domain name space and everything that comes with it. So there's some of the closed domain names that I've mentioned. Now for some of the open ones. If you are in the pharmacy industry, there will be .pharmacy. So you can expect to see, maybe Chemmart.pharmacy or some other top-level or some other brands that have adopted that. There is going to be, if you're in the fashion industry, there will be .fashion. So you may want to associate with .fashion, because that now reflects your industry that you're in versus .com, which does not. Then there will also be some other great ones like .pizza, for instance. So what businesses need to understand, and to be honest, they've gone and done some research into this, and at the moment, 95% of businesses out there are not even aware that these new top-level domain names are there. So there's going to be this tidal wave of is going to come through the whole internet industry, and these changes are going to happen. And if you are not aware of what these changes are, if you've not done the SWOT analysis of how these top-level domain names are going to impact on your business, then you're going to get left behind. And there are, I go to these events with ICANN, which is the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. Sorry, it's an interesting acronym. Who are the stewards of the internet. I go along to these events. I travel the world to be a part of this internet governance and policy change, and the biggest players in the world are there, and I can tell you that these changes are going to happen, whether we want it to happen or not. So really, we need to get involved and understand what's happening in this space, and you need to be talking to people about how this is going to impact on your business. Okay, so that's the what. Now, the why. Why have these new top-level domain names? Well, fundamentally, the .com, I don't know if you've tried, but many people have. It's very, very difficult to find the .com that you want. Now, once upon a time, it was considered that if you had a .com, that a .com would rank ahead of a .net or another top-level domain name. But because of the fact that there are now 2,000 new domain names potentially to hit us, this space is going to change. And the way that these top-level domain names are going to rank is fundamentally going to change. So ICANN wanted to bring creativity to this space that wasn't previously there. And I can see how they are going to do that. We're seeing 2,000 now, but look 20 years ahead of this, and you'll see 20,000 or 200,000 top-level domain names. So that's why ICANN has brought this into the internet space. Okay, next thing, who? Who are the players? Well, just for the application to be involved in this space, it was going to cost, well, it did cost $185,000 for the application. Now, for the majority of businesses out there, that is far beyond what we have the ability to be able to afford. But from ICANN's point of view, they need to be able to maintain the integrity of the internet space. So by limiting it, and like with any technology, even when new flat screen TVs or digital TVs came out, when they first came out, they were extremely expensive. And over time, they were able to rationalize costs, and demand was able to bring down the price. So these new players who have jumped on first are paying a premium to be the first into that space. So you are looking at global brands that are now in there, and they are basically going to be setting the standard for the future of how this internet space is going to develop. All up, they're looking at about $500,000 per domain name. So if you're looking at some of the brands, that's $500,000 for each of their brands. They can have more than one brand. Then there are companies like Donuts who applied for over 300 domain names, and they're all open domains. And I got to listen to them talk about the strategy behind how they created Donuts and why, and they really do want to, or they've seen a vision for how the internet is going to change. Then there is a few other companies like Uniregistry. Frank Schilling, who's the owner of Uniregistry, as an individual, he is also pioneering a great change in this internet space by applying for a whole host of top-level domain names himself. So that is the who. Now, the when. Well, this has been going on for a while now. The window for businesses to apply for their top-level domains has closed. You cannot apply for one. So if you're a brand, be aware that you are going to have brands out there like Seven or AFL, who are going to be promoting their brand, and they're going to be promoting it as a dot brand. So you need to consider how this is going to impact on your business. What's your strategy to be able to overcome that? Because businesses are going to be consumers are going to be saying, well, these guys here are being progressive. So you need to be thinking about that. So as of the third or final quarter of this year, you are going to start to see these new domain names hit the internet waves. They are going through the final approval process now. So you need to understand that. The next opportunity, if you want to own a top-level domain name, is not going to be for probably another 3 to 5 years. So you need to consider that. If you are interested in owning a new top-level domain, please, you need to go to our website, www.gtld.net.au. Get up to speed with what's happening in this space. Email us and we'll be able to fill you in on what's happening. There is also the www.slamstrategy.com.au if you'd like to contact us there. Now, as a final thing, I'd like to talk about a colleague of mine who's also a mentor. His name's Nassim Javed. Nassim he is a world authority on naming conventions, and this really does carry over into the internet space. Nassim has gone and written many books specifically on understanding the whole internet strategy space and how a name, a word, will impact onto your business. So this is actually a little bit of a segue into my next tip, which will be on understanding how a word is going to impact on your business. So I've got a couple of books here that I'd just like you to consider reading, and these really will help you in the future of your business. The first one here is Domination, the GTLD Name Game. Okay, so you can read that there. See that? A great book. This was the first book that I read from Nassim. I've met him several times. He's a fantastic guy. I even got him to sign it for me. Isn't that great? Love that. The second one here, and this is a beautiful book, Image Supremacy. And this really is about understanding, there you go there. This really is about understanding way past what the GTLDs can provide you. This is an eye into the future of global business. Now, you might sit there and think that this is not necessarily relevant to you because of the fact that you're a small little business. Well, welcome to the internet. The internet makes you a global business. And so everybody should read this and get an understanding of it. The opening chapter was a day in a global business. It's very much worth a read, and I thoroughly recommend it. So I appreciate your time. Thank you very much, and I look forward to sharing my next tip with you in very soon. Thank you very much, and bye for now.